If you've been to St. Anthony's, you've probably seen at least John Cooper, who is one of our finest examples of welcoming and belonging, and really has put a ton of effort in at St. Anthony's, downtown Davenport. And that was magnified when the church, St. Mary's, closed, and the Hispanic community came over to St. Anthony's and done a wonderful job with outreach to the poor, with incorporating this new community into St. Anthony's. And so John has a lot of great stuff for us. So, John.
Yeah, thank you. How many of you have coached Little League or have had kids in Little League and saw what the coach has them do at the very beginning? He says, don't stand up like this, get into the fielding position like this. And so what I'm going to say to you all today is that we as Catholics need to, when we walk onto the grounds of our parish, if we're at Hy-Vee, wherever we're at actually, we need to get into the position to play, into the position to welcome, into the position to help people feel like they belong. Or, what do kids often do in Little League? They go out into the dirt and they're like this, right? That's very cute to watch a kid do that. But the point is, the most important thing that we can do as Catholics is to welcome and help people feel like they belong. The most important. You know, Bishop and Ryan talked about the Synod. Prior to the Synod coming out of COVID, some of you probably filled out this survey where we asked you, would you recommend your parish to someone around you? Family, friends, co-workers. If you would strongly recommend, 9 or a 10. If you wouldn't, recommend or be less likely to recommend, 0 to 8. The corollary question was important. Why did you give your parish a 9 or a 10? I kind of helped organize that survey, so I saw it all and read it all. 9 or a 10, it was welcoming, and down here, like, the priest gives a good homily. You know what I'm saying? We're talking over the top reason for saying you would welcome or you would recommend was feeling welcome. If you didn't give us a 9 or a 10, what is the reason why? Felt unwelcome. The next thing down here, maybe the music's not so great or something, okay? We're talking overwhelming. So one of the things that I would say to you all today is I hope that you all go back and say, I had a kairos moment. I just didn't chronologically sit here for 6 hours, but I had a kairos moment about welcoming. And we're going to do something about it. Because it's the number one thing that we as Christians, as Catholics can do. Think about it. What did Jesus say? When I was naked, when I was hungry, when I was in prison, when I felt unwelcomed. Okay? Hugely, hugely important. So a couple things. What not to assume. When you walk into your parish, when you are interacting in any kind of situation, don't assume that someone else is welcoming the person. Don't assume. Well, I've seen this person here a lot. Somebody has had to welcome them. Do not assume that. Assumptions like that kill the Holy Spirit. Rather assume this. Assume that the person you see here for the first time, or here who's been a couple of times, but I really don't know them, assume that they may have just found out they had cancer. Assume that they may be going through a divorce. Assume that they are having some major issue in their lives. Now that may not be the case. They may be showing up because their child needs first communion. But assume that people come to the threshold of our churches because they have a deep need. Assume that, okay? The other thing that I wanted to point out is that when someone is at your church, make sure you recognize them. I just finished 1 year of Al-Anon, and at every single Al-Anon meeting, we are read a script. And at the end of that script, who is new here? Who is new here? And if someone says that they are new, everybody in that group at some point tries to make them feel welcome. So at your parishes, use that opening welcome that many of us do and ask. We hope that you will feel welcome here today if you are new. If you didn't feel welcome, let us know. Don't make it be like a platitude. Oh, they just say that every week. But make it real. Make it real. And at the end of Mass, we always should ask people, do you want to become Catholic? Tie it into the reading. Jesus said, follow me today in the gospel. Do you want to become Catholic? Are you Catholic but don't have a parish home? Don't belong to a parish? We would love to have you here at our parish. We would love you. And if you're new today, please stand up. When we had our little panelist discussion the other day about what we were going to say, I stole an idea from Sister Irene. That meeting was on a Thursday. We implemented it that Saturday. This was the suggestion. We have people stand up and clap and welcome them, but have something to have the ushers or greeters go and give them. So we came up with a letter, Father Rudy letter, welcome in there. It says in there, you just might be visiting, but this is what St. Anthony's is about. On the back side, there is a registration form, okay? We put holy cards in there. And so my point is here, I heard Sister Irene say that she did that at a parish in the past. And that's how long it took to implement, from Thursday to Sunday. I have a whole bunch of things here that I've listed out of things that you can do that Patrick says that he will email out afterwards. But the main thing that I want to say to you is that this is the most important thing that we can do. And I always try to share a part of myself here and show my vulnerability. And so I'll share this with you to close. So we did a survey at St. Anthony's, an evaluation survey, and I'm reading one of the comments as to why they didn't give St. Anthony's a 9 or a 10. John Cooper did not make me feel welcome. When I was sitting before Mass, I heard him ask the greeter, who is this person? Unfortunately, that greeter doesn't hear real well, and so the exchange was probably louder than I would have liked. Now, I was asking because I cared about that person, okay? But that person was hurt because I didn't go to them and say, I'm John Cooper. How can we help you? How can we make you feel like you belong? I sent her an apology card. I didn't say, it's because I scrutinized your evaluation and I know who you are. But I put 2 and 2 together and I sent her an apology card. And she sent me back a thank you card saying thank you. My point is that we all can do it better. And it's not about this being an option. Please leave here and realize this welcoming thing is not just something extra to do. It is the most important thing that we can do. And finally, the last thing I'll say in terms of when we're talking about people of other cultures who speak differently than us, if feeling unwelcomed is a virus in this room, who is the virus going to hit first? It is going to hit the person who doesn't speak like the majority, who doesn't look like the majority, whose culture isn't like the majority. That's who the virus of unwelcoming is going to hit first. So everything that I have said, is amplified when you have someone of color, someone who speaks differently, someone from a different culture. Everything should be done 1,000 times more for that person. Thank you.